Hello, Islander. You've decided to explore the question, how does caffeine affect college students? If you haven't done so yet, pause the video here and take a moment to brainstorm some important keywords. Don't forget to look at the question for some initial keywords and to use synonyms of those words as well. On the screen, you can see some of the keywords or phrases that I was able to brainstorm as I did the same exercise. The first keyword I focused on was caffeine. A similar key phrase I could search is caffeine addiction. If I want to know the health effects, health or sleep may also be important keywords to consider. Finally, maybe I want to focus on what kinds of caffeine students are drinking. Then coffee or energy drink may be important keywords to include on my list. Now, let's focus on the second half of our question. College students is the next key phrase I identified. I can search similarly for the phrase university student. Maybe we want to focus on a specific type of student. Nursing students or first-year students could be useful terms depending on what population you want to focus on. Do you see any similarities or differences between our lists? Our different experiences with these topics may mean we use different words to search for information. Similarly, those who write and create content around this topic may use different words as well. This list is by no means final. As we begin the search process, we're going to find new words that we might not have thought about before, and then we can add those to our list. But now that we've decided on what words we will use to begin our search, the next steps in developing our search strategy is deciding where to search. We can determine where to search by knowing what types of resources we want to look at. Different formats of information give us different perspectives, and different search engines lend themselves better to specific formats of information. To help us better understand where to search, let's start by familiarizing ourselves with the information timeline. The information timeline is the process in which information changes over time. Typically, an event happens and then the information timeline begins. The steps in the timeline include social media, news, magazines and blogs, scholarly and peer-reviewed journal articles, and books. Let's use a fictional example of how information travels through the timeline related to caffeine and college students. Let's pretend that a university decided to ban caffeine, including coffee and energy drinks, on campus as a health initiative. When the news is announced, we would first begin to see many people posting about it on social media, making their thoughts known, typically within the first 24 hours. Also within the first 24 hours, we'd begin to see news reports about the event. This could be local, state, and even national news. Then, after a week or so, we'd start to see magazines and blogs writing about the ban. Magazines and blogs, while different formats of information, both take the information from journalistic reporting and expand upon it, interpreting the information and framing it in a way different from news journalists. Then after a few months, we'll begin to see some scholarly and peer-reviewed journal articles about the ban. It would take at least a few months to see the impact of the change on campus, and those health scholars writing about the change will need to go through the peer-reviewed process before their articles are published in scholarly journals. The peer-reviewed process takes months because articles published in this format are reviewed by experts in the field before publication. And finally, after about a year or so, we'd begin to see the first few books written about the event. This format of information, while typically more comprehensive, takes longer to produce because books go through so many editorial steps. We can usually find clues about which of these resources we need to find by looking at our assignment instructions. By knowing what types of information we need to find, we can identify where to start looking for information. Google lends itself best to finding social media, news, and blogs. Search engines like the Library Quick Search or subject-specific databases from the library lend themselves best to finding news, magazines, scholarly and peer-reviewed journal articles, and books. Take a moment to think about what types of resources you want to find around caffeine and college students. If it's scholarly and peer-reviewed journal articles, magazines, newspaper articles, and books, then you should start using the Library Quick Search.